Derek Carr's just Kirk Cousins that wears mascara. Thoughts?
Hey, Derek Carr can at least win a primetime game.
It's the only thing you have against him.
Cause we way too high for you. Tripping like we got too much on. But they got love for us. Cause we staying all night long. Yo, when we walk in the club, you better believe we know what's up. Got these girls all in a trance. Throwing living in the dance.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to another rendition of the Bros in the Berg podcast. If you're joining us for the first time, that's not unusual. My name is Ryan Doyle. I'm joined by my co-host and second most handsome person on the fucking podcast, Robbie Bergstone.
I'll take that.
And under 50 feet of shit is our executive producer, following up the rear. To be fair, he does make this podcast work. But he doesn't work because he doesn't have a job. So shout out mom and dad on that one.
They have to do with it.
Get a job.
We're giving you food and a roof over your head. Be thankful for your
be
parents,
grateful.
Connor.
Oh, I am grateful for my parents. But what do they have to do with me not getting a job?
That's crazy.
That doesn't have any relevance.
Just as a fair warning, apparently we're all deliriously tired. However, it's only 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here this night. So apparently, Ryan and I have just been putting in the hard work at our jobs, and Connor's been, I don't really know what he does during the day. So.
We're going to get started here. We don't have a ton of news today, so we're going to throw some segments at us, and we're going to see how we do. But this is one from one of our co-hosts, Robbie Bergstone. Robbie wants to, obviously we do kind of a Twitter hot takes thing here and there where we kind of present other people's hot takes. Robbie wanted to get the podcast, the three guys sitting here right in front of you. He wanted to get our hottest NFL takes for the upcoming season. We only have about a little over a month until football gets started up again. And Robbie wants to know what we think, I guess. So I guess we're going to go with our hottest take for the upcoming NFL season. Gentlemen, who wants to start? I guess I have been selected to go first. And I have some. I'd like to present some of my reasoning after I state what I say. So don't interrupt me too fast because this might be out there.
I will.
Not only will the Falcons win the NFC South, they will have at least 10 wins. And here are some of my reasonings for that statement. First of all, Bijan Robinson. I've been singing his praises for months and months, and everybody knows this. I think Bijan Robinson is one of the best college football running back prospects ever, and I think he continues that in the pros, and I think he becomes elite pretty much as soon as he touches the turf in the pros. So obviously there. I think Ritter is going to take a step up. I'm not saying he's going to be elite by any means, and obviously their passing game isn't going to be the most ideal thing, but I think he's going to be better. I think he's going to take a step up, and if not, people forget that Heineke is there, and Heineke is serviceable. He's not good, but he's a serviceable quarterback in the NFL. So combine that with a really good run game. I think you have something good there. I think Drake London proved to be a really good option last year, especially when Kyle Pitts was in and out with injury. I expect him to take another step up, and I expect Kyle Pitts to come back and stay healthy this season and really be solid and kind of provide that receiving aspect that they kind of missed out on last season between Drake London getting more targets and them figuring out the offense more. And then finally, if you didn't know, the Falcons have a new defensive coordinator named Ryan Nielsen. Their front seven has been completely revamped, and Ryan Nielsen was the defensive coordinator of the Saints last year, and the Saints had one of the best pass defenses in the league and the top 10 third down percentage. And his one issue was the front seven, but like I said, the Falcons have revamped that. So those are all my descriptions and reasons for why I think the Falcons will win the NFC South and have at least 10 wins.
Holy
you lost me
on Bijan.
And you also lost me at that. Desmond Ritter is going to be solid this year.
I said better. I didn't say solid.
Blasphemous.
It's better.
That's just. But you were implying that. You're not going to win 10 games without him being a solid quarterback.
Correct.
Let's not.
Right. Yeah. But if he's not solid,
like that.
Then Heineke steps in.
Just to be that so means Bijan's carrying them to 10 wins, and I don't see it.
Well, that's what I think. And their defense.
So
I think it's a combination. Yeah.
If it's a hot take, it's got to have some fight backs.
Of course.
Yeah.
Ryan, it looks like you're next.
Yeah, I couldn't come up with something that was super egregious that I could even justify. Which is a little rough. So I'm just gonna go with this one. I think the Arizona Cardinals don't win a game this year. That's my hot take.
That would be
a single game.
A single game.
You don't
Yeah.
think Kyler Murray gets them one?
Do they have a bad
No,
schedule?
dude, the new COD coming out, bro.
Yeah, he's got a point.
He's
Got a
right.
point.
He's right.
Is there any fact to this claim, validity to this claim, or is it just something you just want to
D-Hop gone.
What?
They are not a good football team this year.
Well, they finished with last year. Like, I don't even remember how many wins they finished with last
I
year.
have no idea.
I want to say like 4.
Couldn't
I mean,
tell
it
ya.
wasn't very many. I mean, it was like surprisingly low. And I really can't remember.
Let's see
what
what
it
FanDuel
They also
has,
they also had to
them.
start Colt McCoy for a few games last year.
was. Oh, come on, man!
That's true.
Don't be hating on Colt McCoy. I had no idea that he was still in the league until he showed up again. I was like, what the? Why is Colt McCoy playing right now?
What the hell is happening?
Disrespectful.
So obviously Ryan doesn't care about our segments. So Robbie, let's swing it over to you for the last one.
Wow.
So I was talking about this at the bar, which is what made me think of the segment. And my hot take is there's one stipulation to it, but I think it's going to get resolved and it's going to be fine. The New York Football Giants are going to the NFC East this year.
Are gonna win the NFC East?
Win the NFC East this year over the Cowboys, over the Eagles. It's one of those divisions that I feel like it always just gets passed around. Like it's pretty rare that the team wins it 2 years in a row. I think the Eagles will take a slight step back this year. I don't see the Cowboys being all that good this year. I think Danny Dimes keeps getting better. My stipulation is that Saquon's contract gets figured out. I think it will. They add in Waller as an actual somewhat effective pass catcher. Drafted some wide receivers that might pan out. I think brought in a few other ones too. So yeah, I think the New York Football Giants are going to win the NFC East.
I don't think it's a bad say. I've seen that a lot from a lot of people at the Giants. I mean,
I just feel like everyone's like Eagles, Cowboys
yeah.
are going to be the ones. Then
But
that's.
I mean, from a few years ago when the NFC East was like the absolute, basically the AFC South of the league a few years ago. I mean, they're three of the teams have really taken a step up, and I feel like I've seen a decent amount of people say like those 3 teams, the Cowboys, Eagles, or Giants, all have a chance this year, even with the Eagles' Super Bowl berth last year.
I feel like everyone's like, oh, the Eagles were by far the best team in the NFC last year, and they're going to do it again.
I get it, Ryan.
The line for the Cardinals is 4.5, which is the lowest in the league by far. The next closest is multiple teams have 6.5.
That's crazy. That's actually wow. I mean, I don't expect the Cardinals to be good, but like, I would not have expected them to have the lowest wins in like the league in terms of betting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Vegas does not like the Cardinals this year.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. There's been a lot of management issues, and obviously the Kyler stuff, and D-Hop leaving, as you said. There's some question marks definitely, but to not even win 4 games, and as Ryan says, not win a single game all year. That's his take. So moving on here, I'm gonna do a quick overrated, underrated segment. We don't have a ton of names here, but I'm gonna throw them out to the guys. We have kind of a mix of sports here. So overrated, underrated, properly rated. Vince Carter.
I think Vince Carter is properly rated by people that have watched the game.
I was going to say, because I feel like he's one of the first names that always comes up as someone who is underrated, which therefore in my mind makes him properly rated. If people are always like, oh, people undervalue him, and
I don't think he's underrated. I mean, he's looked back on it as like one of the most explosive dudes to ever play the game. And I think people like really admire his longevity from someone who was like jumping out of the like over 7-footers. Like you don't see guys like last that long. Like they're that explosive. Their knees go, but the fact that he lasted 22 years in the league, the Hall of Fame worthy career. I mean, I think he's properly rated.
I mean, that video of him I think he was 41 at the time. He's in like a full suit and he does a 360 dunk. It's like, what the hell? Like that's actually
crazy.
Unbelievable.
Dude was a freak.
Yeah. Moving on to the next name I have here. Actually a current player, even though I believe he's injured right now. Mike Trout.
properly rated.
I think he's underrated. I
Still think so?
yeah.
Because I think how many people would you not hear say Mike Trout is the best player of his generation? Which he is, but I feel like that's everyone's take. I don't think anyone thinks Mike Trout is not the best player over the last 10 years.
I still think he's underrated because of how bad the Angels have been. I don't have a lot more to like substantiate my claim. Just from the eye test, man. I don't know. He's just.
I think
elite.
He's a different player.
He is elite, but I think everyone knows that, and there's the reason that the Angels have kept him around is because everyone thinks he's the best player in the MLB, and they can sell tickets off of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, baseball is a much harder sport to win with only one good player. But the only reason Mike Trout's still on the Angels is because everyone wants to see Mike Trout play, and they can sell tickets off that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think people will know how good Mike Trout is.
Moving on to another baseball player, retired, Albert Pujols.
I don't know. He's he's probably one of the best. He is top 2 or 3 St. Louis Cardinals of all time. I mean, he's top 10 in home runs hit, literally called the machine. It's tough because the last couple years in the Angels really like put a little bit of a damper on his career. I mean, I think people would have.
Then he had his streak. What was that, 2 years ago, where he was back and like all of a sudden was hitting home runs left and right again, and
he was raking.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think he's another one that's properly rated. Baseball people really, I think, rate players properly. I think it takes a lot to impress a lot of like the people that follow baseball, because there's not a ton of casual baseball fans, to be honest. There's a ton of casual NFL and NBA fans. But if you call yourself a baseball fan, like a lot of the times you seem to know what you're talking about.
And I feel like there's so many like concrete baseball stats, like football, like no one fucking knows what QBR is really. Like, does that really like mean anything to you at the end of the day? Like OPS is very self-explanatory. Like there's a lot of really good. I mean, I guess maybe WAR would be the one for baseball. Like everyone's like, oh, he has the highest WAR of all time. It's like I mean, I know what it means, but I don't know how you calculate that. But I just feel like there's more concrete.
Isn't even the top 50 of WAR all time.
Really?
He's 52.
Maybe he's overrated.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's like he's projected because, you know, a lot of these guys that have like the highest WAR is also a longevity stat, right?
Yes.
Like all these dudes, if you look at the list, the person who is less than 20 years, it's the highest on this list, is Ted Williams, who's obviously like all-time great.
Great. Yeah.
Moving on to the next name, we have a football player here, Megatron Calvin Johnson.
Underrated.
The
only reason is because his career was short. Otherwise, he would be among the greatest wide receivers of all time.
And the Lions fucking sucked when he was
sucked.
There. Yes. Like, sucked. Blew hard. Like, bad.
But do you not think, like...
I mean, bags
Stafford tried his best, but, like, there's only so much he could do.
Megatron would still dominate today. Like, you know, like, it's like, oh, older player, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, but, like, Megatron would still be top 3 today if he was in his prime. It's not close.
Yeah.
Dude is a freak.
I think if he'd gone to a single competent team, he could have helped will a team to the Super Bowl, which I feel like is hard to say about a wide receiver. But like he was almost unguardable.
Yeah.
If he wanted to go get a catch, he would go get the catch.
Megatron, you know how certain special players can adjust, like Lawrence Taylor, they adjusted how they developed left like blindside tackles and what they were looking for in tackles to be able to protect the quarterback. Megatron kind of adjusted the way they were recruiting defensive backs for them to be taller and bigger, so that receivers weren't just completely dominating these smaller players, right? Because
it didn't matter how fast you were.
No one had ever seen a guy that's built like a tight end at 6'7" that looks like he should be in the NBA, just blowing past DBs, but also like 7 inches taller. And if the ball is in the air, he's grabbing it out of the air. Like DBs could do nothing to him. So it changed the archetype of the defensive back.
I mean, Robbie, do you not think though that longevity plays a part in like your where you fall in terms of how people rank you?
It definitely should.
It should, but I will say like I don't think he necessarily retired because of like injuries. I think he retired because he's fucking sick and tired of losing.
I think you're right.
I mean, I think that there's a difference there of like my career is being wasted and like I don't want to put my body on the line anymore for this team that doesn't feel like to me wants to win. Because I mean, that's what the Lions were for a long time. Right? I was like, do they even want to win games? And I think that's part of that.
I mean, you're on a team that lost every single game. Like the first time in NFL history, lost every single fucking game.
Well, hey, you think the Cardinals are gonna join that club?
Fucking do it again.
And then the last one I have on this list is not an athlete. He's actually an analyst, if you will. Stephen A. Smith.
Overrated. Actually, I don't know if you could even say he's overrated. I think like he's an entertainer and he does his job well. Like
I was gonna say, I actually think Stephen A. is underrated, which I probably would be in the minority of. But he does things to get clicks, but that's also like ESPN's whole thing at this point. ESPN is barely a sports network now. It's mostly an entertainment.
It's an entertainment. Yeah, 100%. It's owned by the
mouse. They're not really there to make correct sports takes or give hard-hitting analysis. They're to entertain people. And
That's
Stephen
why
A does a
Skip
great
Bayless
job of
and Kendrick Perkins have jobs. Like,
right. Right.
It's a good
But
point.
if if you ever listen to Stephen A off of ESPN, like he goes and does like some guest interviews on podcasts and stuff, and like he's a very intelligent guy. Yeah, Stephen A, come on the pod.
Please.
Like he's a very intelligent guy about sports, knows his basketball really well. He was a beat reporter for I don't remember what team, but that's why he started out his career. He's a beat reporter in the NBA. So he knows his stuff about basketball. He knows, he can really get some analysis in there. I think if it wasn't for him screaming and yelling all the time with Skip, like I think he'd be much more highly regarded.
Yeah.
I think Stephen A also has a really cool story. He talks about how much it took. I forget what interview it was, but he talked about how long it took for him to get to the position where he was at, and how he is always constantly fighting for like underrepresented reporters and all this other kind of stuff. But he really cares about like the industry that he's in, and I think he's like a pretty well liked guy. So I was joking when I said overrated. I think he's properly rated. Like, he does his job well, and people respect him in the space. So
Stephen A is also the one sports personality in terms of like the big names like Skip and I guess Perkins now, where it's like if someone brings up a take he said in the past and like he was really wrong, whatever, he'll like laugh at himself and he'll acknowledge that he was wrong. Whereas like Skip and Perk will like try to talk their way around it. It drives me nuts when the rest of those guys try to talk their way around
has
it.
not earned the right to be in the same conversation as Skip.
No, agree.
Like,
no,
You
yeah,
just
yeah.
hear about him so much.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
what is the problem?
Yeah.
It's like, Colin Cowherd should be
Yeah.
like in the same like breadth of conversation.
Shannon Sharp,
Yeah. I think
because
it's
he's on Skip's show.
Kellerman, Greenberg.
Kellerman.
Anyone
has some,
ever
like-
associated with a first take type of show?
Yeah.
Kellerman actually really knows his boxing.
Yes,
Funny
he
enough.
does.
Kellerman, if you ever want actual boxing news, he's the dude. He covered that before he got big.
God, does he not know anything about any other fucking
Yeah, it's
sport?
pretty wild.
Holy shit.
Awesome. Thank y'all for doing that. We have some news we're going to get into. Obviously, kind of our
boy.
bread and butter here.
Breaking news.
Not too much, but we do, like I said earlier, only a little over a month away from football, professional and college. So we have some college football headlines. Actually, just kind of college in general for this first one. The Pac-12 expects to release details of its highly anticipated media rights deal in the near future. A league source with knowledge of the conversation told ESPN on Tuesday. Leaders throughout college athletics have been paying close attention to the Pac-12 and waiting for months to see how, if at all, the new deal could further impact conference realignment. The biggest flight risk, according to sources, has been Colorado, and it remains to be seen if the administration there has the patience to wait for the new deal before making a major decision that could have a tidal wave of effects.
Where the fuck is Colorado going to go? Are they going back to the Big? Is the Big 12 going to take them back?
I think that the front runner was the Big 12 to take Colorado back.
Big 12 will accommodate 16. They'll do 16.
We were already trying, like a few months ago.
They'll take Colorado.
They were discussing getting a lot of the Pac-12 teams in the Big 12, but I don't know.
I mean, also now the Big 12 is by far the biggest reaching conference in terms of like geography.
Yeah.
Big 10 with USC and UCLA.
I did.
Sure.
I guess they just moved. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking it's like you.
I
have
mean,
like,
not this year, but next year.
It's like you have West Virginia. Now you have like BYU.
Yeah,
right?
Cincinnati
Like, I mean,
and Florida too, or UCF.
Yeah.
So
The Big 10 has from Jersey to South California.
I had forgotten the
which is
California
crazy.
schools.
Makes no sense.
well, I mean, but the Big 12 is
Money.
more like, whereas those are like two extremes, kind of in terms of like across the map. Whereas like the Big 12 has more in between, like from their furthest distance
There's
schools.
such a big gap between like the California schools and the furthest west team and the Big 10 now would be Nebraska.
Yeah,
Like, there's such a big gap between those two.
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Well, that was the same thing when West Virginia joined the Big 12.
Yeah.
Like you have all like the Great Plains schools, and West Virginia's like, where the fuck are we?
Yeah. But I mean, this is obviously interesting. Hopefully we hear something, because I mean, this has been the biggest kind of not really spoken about news in a long time, mostly because like the Big 10 took precedent, and then the Big 12 added the new teams, and then everybody was kind of like, uh-oh, the Pac-12 might be screwed.
The Pac-12 is the last domino to fall.
Yeah.
I think, well, I take that back. I think the Pac-12 goes next, and then the ACC is still not safe, which is weird to say, but the ACC is another one that, I mean, if you lose Clemson or Florida State, the ACC is done.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
So
I mean, like,
The Big 12 really is that meme. It's like call an ambulance, but not for me or whatever.
For me, yeah.
It's like I thought the Big 12 was dead with Texas and
Absolutely.
OU.
Yep. If reports are true and Colorado does end up, or excuse me, speculative reports come true, and Colorado does end up leaving, do you think that spells the end for the Pac-12?
I don't think Colorado's a big enough domino to fall, but
Yeah.
also I think every team hurts the Pac-12 at this point because
Yeah, 100%.
you've already lost two of your biggest ones, if not your two biggest ones. It's like anything that leaves from here on out is spells trouble.
And all these schools are like just like looking at all the TV money leaving, and then they're seeing all these giant contracts that the rest of like the Big Ten and SEC are getting. And they're like, yeah, we have to get in on that just to like support our entire athletic program.
If Washington and Oregon didn't have like friends
money.
in the conference, well, I was gonna say if they don't have Oregon State and Washington State, they're already in the Big Ten. They're already gone.
Yeah,
I think they had some pullback due to there being other universities in their state in the Pac-12.
and you can't tell me that some of these Colorado reports aren't like a big influence of Deion Sanders. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Deion was trying to maybe get his way out of the Pac-12.
I guess you could say obviously like the Pac-12 is in a more precarious situation than the Big 12 is right now. So it's like of all the Power 5 conferences, it's the weakest like in terms of like staying power. So he just left Jackson State to come for his first Power 5 job. So he, wants what's going to be the best. Like,
yeah, exactly.
He knows kids are the best kids are not going to come to play at his school that's in the weakest conference, which means his first Power 5 job might not be as successful for him to like try to climb the ladder. So
yeah.
And the crazy thing is the Pac-12 is probably the strongest in all of like the non-revenue generating sports. Like any of the Olympic sports. The Pac-12 is great. I mean, you have Stanford who wins all these national championships, but they're not good in the ones that matter.
Phenomenal schools like WashU, Stanford. Like these are really good schools. Obviously, the SC schools too.
You know what makes money though?
Football. Football.
They don't make any money. They make zero money.
On God.
We'll talk baseball later, but I just saw a video of Pat come up on ESPN. And it was a video of Kyle Schwarber, of all people, robbing a home run. How would you feel if Kyle Schwarber had the ups to like yoink your ball from over the field, over the fence?
Kyle Schwarber, he's batting under 200 for the season.
Yeah, he's dog shit.
This has over 20 home runs though.
He's really bad.
My guy only hits dingers.
That was like when, correct me if I'm wrong, Joey Votto was on the Rangers for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, dude, it was like the same thing. He either struck out or hit a home run. Like there was no in between.
Gallo.
Yes.
Oh, I said sorry, Gallo. Yeah,
Votto's on the Reds.
Yeah. Shout out the Reds for losing whenever Ryan went.
Yeah, they would never let.
They got swept. That series, by the way.
Yeah. They went in the All-Star breakup a game on the Brewers. Now they're 4 back. It's the Reds have like fallen off the wagon hard.
Moving on. So this is an issue to do with Northwestern. So Northwestern will initiate 2 external reviews into its athletic department in the wake of investigations into hazing and bullying that resulted in the firing of football coach Pat Fitzgerald and baseball coach Jim Foster. University president Michael Schill, in a letter to Northwestern faculty and staff, said the reviews are needed to ensure appropriate accountability for the athletic department. One review will examine how Northwestern detects threats to its athletes and implements accountability within the athletic department. The other review will assess the culture of Northwestern athletics and its relationship to the academic mission. Both reviews will be made public, unlike the football hazing investigation and an investigation of bullying and a toxic environment under Foster in the baseball program.
Northwestern cares a lot about their academics.
Yeah, of course.
Which is why you saw them get rid of Fitzgerald so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It was like the report came out and he was gone.
Yeah.
So.
How long ago was that?
2 weeks? Not super long ago.
Relatively recent news.
Yeah, that is very recent news. So yeah, Northwestern obviously, not playing around with that kind of stuff, which is correct. That's how things should be handled. So shout out to Northwestern.
Especially, I mean, that is the by far their most successful football coach in program history.
Yeah, and they said no.
They're like, nope, not worried about it. Goodbye.
Bye. Yeah, exactly.
They are in fact a doormat, and looks like they will continue to be a doormat.
Yeah.
Hey, they won 2 division titles in the last 10 years. So I'm gonna need you to give Northwestern some respect.
They beat Nebraska.
You know what? Yeah. I'm so excited to watch a Nebraska game this year. You have no idea.
Wow.
Dude, it's because it's really
funny. Being up here and being surrounded by all the UC, University of Cincinnati people, they're so excited to be in the Big 12. Like they're super excited for all the games and like to see all the people from Texas and Oklahoma come
Does
up. To
Oklahoma
Ohio.
State play in Cincinnati this year?
Nope,
It's in Stillwater.
Couldn't be so lucky.
Big Stilly.
Apparently our away. So for those of you watching, if you don't know, I'm actually with the Oklahoma State marching band. And our away game this year, we're going to Houston. So the new one of the new teams is the band takes one away trip every year. Usually we took one away trip and then also went to Bedlam if it was in Norman, but now it's only one away trip, and we're going to Houston this year. So that'll be interesting.
That's fucking mid.
Yeah, I know. It was either that or Iowa State, and I was like, "Damn, dude, we should have gone to Iowa State. We suck in Iowa State.
You go to Ames.
Yeah, we suck in Iowa State. They could use
you guys
us
take
there.
like a pep band to other games, though, don't you?
We do. Yeah, we do. Moving on to some NFL headlines. Probably the biggest one, one of the biggest ones in this past week. DeAndre Hopkins has officially signed with the Tennessee Titans.
You know what that does for the Titans?
Gives them one
absolutely
more win on the season.
fucking nothing. No, I don't even think it gives him one more win. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's throwing him the ball.
Yeah, it's between these two different markers, and on my right here is jack shit, and on my left here is fuck all, and that's right in that range.
Yeah, right. That feels right. That feels right.
What a weird turn of events.
Can't block for Derrick Henry, so therefore it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I saw a report that said like the 3 qualifications that DeAndre Hopkins was looking for in his new team was one, good management, which the Titans don't really have.
Vrabel's a good coach. I would give them that.
Vrabel's fine.
Vrabel's fine. And it was like a contender or like a winning team or something like that, and then like a good quarterback situation.
He had all 3. He's got Vrabel as head coach. They were the number 1 seed like 2 years ago, so contender. They're there.
I still don't know how that happened.
Wasn't their defense really good?
I believe the Titans were a number 1 seed. It's because the AFC South was awful.
Yeah. What was the third one?
It was good quarterback situation. I believe.
Tannehill is actually going to move out to wide receiver, and Derrick Henry will be playing quarterback for the Tennessee Titans this year.
Can you imagine? It's just Derrick Henry just getting wildcat snaps.
Just put the only play. Quarterback, honestly.
Yeah.
Can't be that much worse.
And as much as like we clown Tannehill like for being a somehow worse like Kirk Cousins, he is so much better than the fucking. I literally just blanked his name. The young second year
Malik Willis.
Malik Willis
in any of the games that you watched looked awful.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
And I don't see Will Levis starting this year.
God, I forgot.
The dude fell to the second round for a reason. I can't imagine he's starting this year.
I completely forgot he went. Weird decision for D-Hop.
Questionable at best.
Yeah, I don't love it. I think part of this was due to the fact that he wasn't worth as much on the market as he thought he was going to be, or as much as his agent thought he was going to be.
So does he go to the Titans and follow the Julio Jones train, where he goes there and just essentially falls off the face of the earth and then retires?
Where's Julio? Is Julio gone? Like, I think retired?
I don't think he's in the league anymore.
Yeah,
that's wild. What a such
so
a quick
sad
fall off.
Yeah. He just got old. I mean, Diop's old too now, so we'll see. It's a 2-year deal, so we'll see what happens.
He's got some incentives.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a heavily incentivized it's a heavily incentivized contract, though.
Yeah, something that I keep forgetting about that we're going to see this year. OBJ on the Ravens. I keep forgetting that's happening. So it's like I guess we're going to see what's happening there whenever he plays.
Baltimore's gonna fucking love him.
Moving on to another NFL headline. Robbie kind of mentioned it earlier, but NFL teams having trouble paying up some money to their running backs. The other day, some running backs, or a lot of running backs, tweeted out in defense of these two guys, Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs, failed to sign on with their respective teams by the deadline this past Monday. They're expected not to attend training camp, and it puts both men in danger of missing the season altogether. So obviously, these guys are looking for long-term deals, and so far these teams have not been willing to sign them to such deals. And the other day on Twitter, a lot of running backs came and supported these guys, knowing their situation and their frustration. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think the Giants really have a choice, if I'm being completely honest. I think you have to give Saquon what he wants. In terms of the Josh Jacobs one, there may be a little more leniency there. Don't get me wrong, Josh Jacobs is very good, but I think Saquon is a more essential signing for the Giants.
Yeah. The Raiders are kind of in a fuck around and find out mode where they suck still. The Giants are, I think, a little bit better team. Danny Jones, it's do or die time for Daniel Jones. I think that man's gotta have a good season. And the Giants will have some tough decisions to make next year. The Raiders are just going to exist. Probably go like, I don't know, 7-10 type beat.
I do think signing a running back to like a expensive contract is a luxury for teams that are really good.
Mhm.
Like if you're
Like
just
your
going to be
Carolina
okay,
Panthers.
we gave Miles Sanders a reasonable deal. We're not giving him. I don't think. Are we
Keep
giving him
forgetting
top 10
he's
running
there.
back money? I don't think so. I think that that's a luxury that should be reserved for top tier teams. And I think the Giants can contend this year, but the Raiders aren't really there. And
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs is on that cusp of being an elite running back. I think he's right between very good and elite.
So yeah, like I said, a lot of these guys, it's more so as opposed to the money, which I'm sure is a big part of it. It's more so like long-term deals. Like these guys are looking, and pretty much nowadays, teams don't really want to sign running backs to long-term deals. Which I go back and forth on this because obviously an elite running back can make a lot of difference, but I think it's been proven by multiple teams, specifically in the past 3 to 5 years, that you have better success if you build an elite offensive line and you can put a lot of different guys back there. And I think you sometimes have more success when you do a running back by committee situation. I mean, obviously the Browns are kind of a different situation because Chubb is an elite running back and Hunt was pretty damn good when he was there. So obviously that was kind of different, but that's kind of what started it. But I mean, you kind of saw it a little bit with the Falcons. I know that Patterson kind of led that. But I mean, there have been these different teams where guys there have been lead running backs, but there's been more so running backs by committee like the 49ers, and they've still, before McCaffrey got there, and they've still done really well in the run game without having the one primary guy. So I struggle to come to the full defense of running backs when teams have proven over the last 3 to 5 years that they may have more success. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. It's a weird situation.
So the current top, and we could do this either in total value or average value per year, top 5 contracts in the NFL are as follows. We have Christian McCaffrey, age 27, making $16 million a year on a $64 million total value contract, which is not the highest on this list. It goes to the next person. Who would you like to think has the highest total value contract and the second average year contract?
Alvin Kamara.
That is correct. Alvin Kamara.
Nice.
I'm looking at the list.
This guy.
That's so fucking lame.
What's wrong with you?
What the hell, man? I was doing
I
a
was
segment.
looking it up. I closed it. I won't say anything.
I don't want to do it anymore.
He rage quit the segment.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. Obviously, like I said, the Giants need to get Saquon re-signed, so we'll see what's going on there. I'm gonna throw out some names at you right now. We're moving on from that into something more NFL oriented as well. I saw an article on Fox Sports News to where it was kind of talking about like these NFL players need to basically prove themselves coming up into the upcoming season, or they have something that they need to kind of showcase this season and really showcase that they have the team's back going in the future, kind of are going to be good standout players. Number 3 on the list, it was a 5-man list, but I just took the quarterbacks from the list. And there were 3 quarterbacks on this list, and I just wanted to see what you guys thought about these names and if you would add any other to guys that need to prove something this upcoming season. One of the guys on this list, Justin Herbert.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Probably number 1.
Unproven year. Yeah, not
Close.
not close. He's proven that he can be a good starting quarterback. Can he get over the hump?
Yeah.
Can he be good enough to win you a Super Bowl?
Another name on this list, Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, he has to build on momentum from last year. He looked better last year, but he still doesn't throw the ball super well. He's gotten better, and he can absolutely burn you with his legs. But can he keep developing into a dual threat quarterback, or is he just running around back there like a running back? That's
right.
Speaking of Justin Fields,
question.
he had an interview the other day where somebody asked him if you had to put like a top 5 all-time rushing NFL quarterbacks list together, who would you put? And he put himself in the top 5 rushing NFL quarterbacks of all time.
It was himself, Steve Young, Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson, and I'm struggling to remember who the
Vic?
fifth
Mike
was.
Vick?
Yeah, Vic?
Yes, you're right.
I was like, I would hope so.
I would put Dante Culpepper over Justin Fields. I would put Randall Cunningham over Fields. I would put Donovan McNabb over Fields. Josh Allen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
You've
I was
won.
right. It's Mike Vick, Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson, and Steve Young.
You've one good
Steve
season.
Young. There you
Oh,
go.
Steve, yeah.
I said Steve Young, didn't I?
Oh, I didn't hear you.
I don't think you did.
So
I had him in my head, so that's on me.
So I don't know if he's quite top 5, but obviously he thinks he is. So you gotta respect the confidence. And
I'll give him top 20. You can have that.
yeah, it's just we haven't seen enough. Like he's had one good rushing season, and granted it was a really really good rushing season, but I mean, one season of anything can be. I mean, hell, Brandon Roy was good for a year with the Trailblazers, and like nobody remembers who
Don't
Brandon Roy is.
disrespect Brandon Roy like that. Jeez, coming at my man.
Jesus Christ! Just because it's the NBA offseason doesn't mean you can get away with that type of.
Yeah, we don't
Roy
tolerate
defense come
Brandon
from?
Roy slander.
I didn't know this.
Bro, if Brandon Roy didn't get hurt, he would have been the next Kobe. I don't know what you
Wow.
want. From me. That's a joke. Please don't come at me. That's a fucking joke.
Bro, I haven't posted it yet, but basically one of the clips that I cut from last week's podcast is us talking about like the whole LeBron being 1-9 in the finals thing, and I put like the caption I put is LeBron is mid, and then in parentheses I put satire warning because I know that people are gonna be so upset.
Bro, Brandon Roy played
I
330
was
games,
kidding.
averaged 19 points a game, shot 46% from the field. This man is not a bum.
Brandon Roy
Come
was
on
never a
now.
bum. It was a joke.
I'm
Relax.
You don't know ball.
Yeah.
You don't know ball.
You in fact don't know ball.
But yeah, so I was trying to find this list of the other quarterback, but I cannot find the list. But so are there any other names to you guys in terms of quarterbacks that need to prove something in this upcoming season?
I think we've already talked about it a couple of times. Daniel Jones.
Yeah. Well, he was good last year. I don't know if he needs to prove anything. I think he just needs
Yes,
to
he
remain
does.
consistent.
He does.
He was
needs
good
to-
last
He
year.
needs to prove it.
Daniel Jones was good last
A
year.
lot, but he still like gets made fun of constantly for being.
And he
bad.
still makes a lot of boneheaded
and,
mistakes.
and that's with the worst receiver.
That's what I was gonna
in the
say.
league.
How can you blame him for that?
But like, you still have to continue to try to improve. You have to. I mean, Brady had some bums to throw to in New England sometimes.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I think this is probably another weird one because he was pretty good last year, but Trevor Lawrence, I think, needs to prove they can do it for a full year because he started off the year not great last year, and he figured it out. But it's like, can you actually sustain that for an entire season?
Yeah.
One that comes to mind for me, it's like he's been relatively like a career backup and kind of shined last year. Can you do it 2 years in a row? Is Geno Smith?
Yeah.
That's a good one too. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of these are more so I guess,
Baker
just
Mayfield?
remain consistent.
No. Him and Kyle Trask having a mid-off down in fucking Tampa. That video
Can he?
killed me.
That was so funny. Oh my god. There's just clips of them overthrowing every receiver left and right. Just
I mean, it was bad.
airmailing it over their heads.
I mean, you expect that from, Baker. Like, Baker couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat sometimes, but I mean, even Trask.
You don't
was
expect that from
terrible.
Kyle Trask? He
You
was
just
a
don't-
good quarterback when he played at Florida.
No, you just don't see
You
him
just
on the
threw-
field.
That's fair.
Baker, he gets on the field and then he does that.
I'll throw one.
Trask at Florida was just like, fuck it, throw it up Kyle Pitts down there somewhere, and that was about the extent of his offense.
Hey, Atlanta, try that. He's on my fantasy team.
With his new team, I think you could say Derek Carr with the New Orleans Saints if he's to be the
He's
starting
a bum.
quarterback. Wow.
Him and Kirk Cousins competing for the most mid quarterback of this upcoming season.
Oh, but he's so handsome.
Derek Carr's just Kirk Cousins that wears mascara. Thoughts?
Hey, Derek Carr can at least win a primetime game.
It's the only thing you have against him.
And the fact that he has no rings, little no ring boy, stupid idiot.
There was someone else that came to my mind. No, I lost it. I can't.
Jordan Love?
Yeah, but I was gonna say, have we just completely? And granted, it's fair if you have. Are we completely writing off Ryan Tannehill now? He's kind of bad. He's kind of bad now. He used to be fine.
I don't know.
He had a couple seasons. He was all right.
Yeah, but
He
he's
was
like
top 10 though.
he's like bad now.
Was he ever top 10?
I think he had a couple seasons where he was
Borderline.
top 15, where he was
Yeah.
an above average quarterback.
I agree.
Shout out Derrick Henry.
He's carrying that team. D-Hop though. So yeah.
How did the Dolphins do this year? What do we think?
Oh, Tua. That was the last one on the list. That was the other one on the list. Thank you.
All he has to prove is that he doesn't fucking hit his head every other week. Like, he's a good quarterback. I think he proved that last year. He just has to not hit his head all the time. That's what he has to prove.
Well, you remember that like 4 weeks of the Dolphins investigations? That was so weird last year. I've forgotten about all that.
I saw a video the other day, and it's like Tua took like a selfie video this offseason, and there's a chance that this man is about to unveil a full arm sleeve tattoo. He's already had one like kind of down to here.
Yeah.
But like there's a chance he has like the full like Samoan like tribal arm tattoo this year. And if that's the case, he's gonna look cool as fuck.
He's going
crazy. He's going to absolutely ball out.
Dolphins win the division.
Yeah, NFL over. Might as well start up NFL 2 at this point if he has the full arm sleeve. It's just in the first one because Tua won it.
I was just going to say they're going to replace Josh Allen on the Madden 24 cover with Tua, just like retroactively.
That was a great take. I love that.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Yeah.
AFC East, best division of football. Thoughts?
The Patriots are still going to be absurdly mid.
Yeah, but it's not bad.
Like disgusting. I don't know if they do because I don't think they. The only reason normally if Belichick wasn't there, I would say I don't know that the Patriots win more than 1 or 2 division games, but Belichick does seem to have the rest of the division's number, so I don't think that's actually true.
Mac Jones, you could throw on that list.
All have winning records.
All make the playoffs.
You could throw Mac Jones on the list of quarterbacks with something to prove.
Didn't have a great second season.
No.
This is that was the other potential landing spot for D-Hop, as we've been talking about D-Hop. It was pretty much came down to the Patriots and the Titans.
Yeah.
Wow, really moving the needle there.
So let's move on to some NBA stuff. Actually, I saw one that just came, or something just came to my mind. There's a guy he goes by OG on TikTok, and he talks a lot about basketball and stuff. And he's a really good analyst. And I see him a lot on social media and stuff. But he brought up a point where obviously he was talking about Zion Williamson, and this is going to be Zion's, believe it or not, 5th year coming up in the NBA. And he was saying he was going through some of his stats and stuff. I believe he averaged like 20 something and 7 or like 26 and 7 or something like that. But the problem is that he only averages 28 games a season. So to this point, Zion Williamson has averaged 28 games a season. But when he plays, he gets 26 points and 7 boards a game kind of thing. So he asked a question at the end of the video was saying, is Zion Williamson a bust or is Zion Williamson a what if?
But is Zion even a bust or what if yet? Like he's not like. He's still got time. He's still in the league.
Mm-hmm. Or excuse me, sorry.
He's still going to be starting this year.
His point was if it all ended today, if Zion's career was done, is Zion a bust?
Second biggest bust of all time.
Second biggest bust of all time. Wow.
Yeah.
But behind?
Second biggest bust in the last since 2000.
Who's the biggest one? Greg Oden? Kwame Brown?
Anthony Bennett?
Anthony Bennett? Yeah, that's the other name.
How does this affect LeBron legacy? 1-9 in the finals somehow.
Yeah, he's pretty bad. I think Zion's a what if. I don't know if he's a total bust if it all ended today.
He definitely had flashes. Like even his first couple games, like when he was in the NBA, like he was cooking dudes. And then it's just been, I don't know if New Orleans isn't the right fit from like a team standpoint. Obviously, like he's too strong for his body.
Literally.
Who's better, Slim, Zion, or LeBron
right now?
Like if Zion lost some weight and got to like a healthy playing weight for him, where he wasn't going to hurt himself all the time.
Yeah.
If Zion gets down to like a slim 250, Zion's a problem.
Dude, he's so like it. In the first league, when he was a rookie and when he in his second year, like the sheer levels of strength that he has is absolutely insane. Like people, I think, were a little worried about like, oh, he could dominate whenever he came out of Duke. Like he dominated the college game, obviously, because his strength was so outmatched. They didn't know if like the pros would it be any different, if the guys would be stronger. It was like Zion was dominating just as much in terms of strength and stuff. Like you can't rip the ball away from that dude. It's insane.
There is nobody in the league as strong as him.
Yeah, it's insane.
Like, it doesn't matter.
But he's got your best ability is your availability. As Robbie Bergstone said.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Put it on a t-shirt. Moving on to some other NBA stuff. It's NBA golf combination here. Steph Curry wins the American Century Championship with an incredibly impressive showing. An eagle on, I think, 2 holes. So yeah, Steph getting the dub
eagle.
There.
That's what you're talking about? Is that what you call a hole in one?
Well, yeah, I know he had a hole in one, but then he had 2 eagles too. That's what it was. But yes,
a hole in one is also technically an eagle. Right?
I think that's what they were referencing. stupid
I
idiot.
understand that. I was like, why would Connor call it an eagle for our listeners?
Well,
that
because there were
potentially
multiple
didn't know
eagles.
Ryan, you're just dumb.
Oh God. Maybe we respect the intelligence of our listeners, unlike you. Obviously, because Steph's hand-eye coordination is so elite. I saw someone, I think it was a golfer at some point, was talking about how, like, because that Steph has such, like, legitimately genius-level hand-eye coordination, that whatever sport that he would have chosen to play at a young age, like, he would have been elite at any sport, whether it would have been basketball, baseball, golf, like, he would have been one of the best ever, just because his hand-eye coordination is so ridiculous.
Sounds like a lot of meat riding to me, but I guess I'll let it slide.
Bro, you guys in the term meat riding over the last month. It's just been all over the podcast.
Bro, if Steph Curry picked up cricket when he was younger, swear to God he would have been one of them Cricket World Cups, dude. Swear to
Oh,
God.
God.
India wouldn't have stood a chance, bro.
Last NBA headline for right now. LeBron is going to return to number 23 instead of number 6 out of respect for Bill Russell. If you didn't know, the league, I think it was last season, league-wide retired the number 6 in honor of Bill Russell. And they allowed, it was kind of a grandfathered rule, so they allowed people that were wearing 6 and like LeBron to kind of keep wearing it, but LeBron has decided he's going to switch back to number 23. Number 23, probably end off his career, I would guess.
So a question for you, is this more
retiring numbers for dudes that aren't in the top 10 all time in the NBA? But that's just me.
Well, I was gonna say, is this a
agree.
move for LeBron to respect Bill Russell, or is it a move for LeBron to disrespect MJ one last time before he goes out?
The opposite of beat writing MJ.
Yep. LeBron taking one last stab at MJ, be like, I'm the best 23 to ever play. Let's go. Let's ride.
Does LeBron get one more chip? One more?
No.
Any chance? No chance?
Not unless the Lakers can bring in like Dame, but I don't think that's happening. So.
I think LeBron goes nuts this next season. Like, I'm not kidding. I think LeBron, you ready for it? You ready for the take?
Lamette ride.
LeBron averages 30 this upcoming season.
There's just no way.
That's what I said.
I think here's a take for you. I think LeBron finally gets his 27, 7, and 7.
I like that
year.
one.
I think he finally gets
that
it.
one. I need to.
Yeah.
I need to hand
Yeah,
that.
right? Yeah, I think he
So
finally
nuts.
hits his career averages.
That's so crazy. That's probably one of the like weirdest basketball stats ever. So yeah, that's it in terms of the NBA stuff. I'm gonna retroactively kind of swing it back to college football real quick because I just found another article on the Fox Sports News kind of tab, and it's college football odds. Odds makers early look at win totals, including Alabama, Notre Dame. So I'm a little bit interested in terms of this this article to see what we have here. So let's dive into this real quick. Bama is the second choice to win the national title at plus 600, trailing only two-time defending champ Georgia.
God, I think it's actually probably one of the lowest total or odds for Bama in the last like 5 years.
Yeah.
Plus 600.
It's because we don't know who's playing quarterback.
Yeah, there's a decent amount of question marks on the offense end for us.
Well, so funnily enough, there's a quote here that says Alabama ranks last in the SEC in returning production as just 9 starters are coming back. That's crazy. I did not know that. That's actually wild.
That's what happens when you get your entire half your team drafted to the NFL.
Yeah, it's
Every
Time to reload.
Yeah.
So this one's just funny. It wrote down A&M and it says Points Bet USA has the Aggies season win total at 7.5.
Take the under.
Oh, wow, we are not fans of.
We get to go to Kyle Field this year. Hell yeah!
It has nothing to do with being a fan. Jimbo Fisher just guaranteed locked in at 7-5. That's just
no.
It's the Jimbo magic number. No, we're at A&M. You were right.
Stupid.
You were right. Because remember, we barely beat them at home last year with Milrow.
That's right. And I think I was too drunk for that game.
And the year before that, we lost in Kyle Field on the last second field goal.
Very well.
One more team in this article in the SEC. Mississippi State's win total is set at 6.5.
Under, I think the West. I think the West is going to be really good this year between Alabama, LSU, and Ole Miss.
So let me read off the schedule. Their Eastern opponents they get this year are Kentucky and South Carolina.
Those could both be L's.
They have Southeast Louisiana, Arizona, who fucking sucks, LSU, South Carolina, Alabama, Western Michigan, Arkansas, Auburn, Kentucky, A&M, Southern Miss, and Ole Miss. That 6.5 line's fucking money. That's a golden line.
I think it's a lot closer than you giving him credit for.
I
could see
think it's 6 or 7.
it's a good line.
It's a good line.
I could very easily see them winning 6 games.
Moving on real quick into our last headline. The United States has won the last 2 Women's World Cups and is the betting favorite to win an unprecedented 3rd in a row this year.
USA.
But the gap between the U.S. women and the competition has narrowed, and the odds reflect a more competitive field than in the most recent World Cup. Caesars Sportsbook has the U.S. at plus 225 to win the Cup, followed by England at plus 450, Spain at plus 500, and Germany at plus 750. The U.S. was an even money favorite to win the 2019 World Cup. So I guess we'll see. I guess there's a little more competition in the field this year. Obviously, going to be rooting for a women heavy.
Money to win a World Cup is wild.
Yeah, that's
crazy. I didn't know the odds are that crazy for them.
Yep. But yeah, this year it is 225 plus 225. So a little more competitive this year, it seems like. But the women are going to do it. They're going to three-peat like Jordan. So yeah, shut up, Robbie. We're gonna swing it over to Ryan for the MLB standings.
Pete Alonso losing the first round.
He's ass.
Bet $10 on him. So did my roommate.
No way.
Just bad beats.
That's
I actually made $1.30 that night because I bet on Vladdy.
Good for you.
And somebody else, Randy
Rosarena.
Yeah. I bet him on plus 20 home runs in a round. So that was fucking cash.
You didn't bet on Julio like I told you to?
41.
No. Most ever in a single derby round. Pretty fucking wild in his home field. Good shout out to him, even though he lost to Vladdy in ye ol' finals.
Like a Josh Hamilton type beat.
Every swing was just gone. Like as soon as he swung, you knew it was gone.
The National League won an All-Star game after 9 straight losses.
They hit the under on that line that y'all were talking about.
Under hit again, 3-2. The unders like to hit in All-Star games. It's pretty wild.
What was the odds on that random guy from the Rockies winning All-Star Game MVP too?
I don't even want to fucking know.
I bet it was insane.
Yeah, free money, right?
Yeah, I swear.
So All-Star Weekend was great. Gave those players a much-needed rest just to get back and just start sucking, as the American League leading Tampa Bay Rays are doing. 3-7 in the last 10. Currently losing to the Rangers again. The Rangers might get out the brooms coming back from the All-Star break, which I'm very excited about. Rays still lead in the AL East with the Orioles in second, 20 games over 500. Don't know how that happened. The Blue Jays in third, Red Sox in fourth, and your Yankees at 50-45 are in the basement of the AL East, which is, I don't know, crazy.
Great to see. Great division to see. They're losing to the Angels right now, 2-0.
Dub.
Yeah, also, it was the bottom of the 6 earlier, and it was 13-12 Braves.
It's now 16-13.
16-13.
Golly.
The top of the 9th.
Yeah, tough scene, to be honest. Lots of high-scoring games tonight. Don't know what's in the air. But over to the AL Central, no one cares about this division. They all fucking suck.
Keep on rolling. Just keep on rolling.
I'm legitimately not going to talk about this division. Excellent.
Come on.
Moving to the AL West, we had the Rangers leading at 56-39, a 4-game win streak to start coming back from the break. And then we got the Astros 3.5 games back. Mariners a game over 500. Angels right there, with 2 of the best players of all time, still sitting a game under 500 because they're an awful poverty franchise. And then there's one more team in the AL West. We're just not going to mention them because they don't matter. Moving over to the National League, you got your league leading Braves sitting at 61
on a cold streak.
31.
Can I say something real quick?
Cold streak.
Geographically, why are Houston and Seattle in the same division?
Yes.
Don't think about it. Don't think about it. You're thinking too much about it.
Yeah, my bad.
Braves are at 10 games up on both the Phillies and the Marlins. The Braves have hit a bit of a cold streak. Lost 2 in a row. Looks like 3 tonight. Mets 7 games under 500. Everybody loves to see that. Don't care who you are a fan of. Mets losing is great. Nationals are playing in major.
They're a team. They're a team that plays in our nation's capital.
Moving in the NL Central, where my new team resides. Unfortunately, they've lost 5 straight, so they're kind of letting me down ever since I moved up here. Brewers are 2 games up on those famed Cincinnati Reds. Cubs are 7 games under 500 and 8 back of the Brewers. Cardinals are bad, and the Pirates have lost their last 1 and 9. They have absolutely imploded since their hot start at the start of the season at 41 and 54.
Remember when Connor predicted the Pirates? I think we're going to make.
We're
going to
insert that right here, right now.
Yeah, I think that was the take.
They were good at the beginning of the year, and then they fell off.
Yeah,
it's the Pirates. Yeah, that does add up. Yep.
I meant the Padres.
Out west,
that wouldn't be any better.
That's kind of sucking.
Any better.
You have one of the highest payrolls in baseball, leading the division in the NL West. So not very exciting with the Dodgers. Giants are a game and a half back. Diamondbacks are 2.5 back. So actually, it's a very competitive division out west. Padres, for how much money they spent, suck. They're 45 and 50, 10 games back. And the Rockies are, again, a team that plays baseball out in the mountains west. So that's what we got.
But they have the All-Star Game MVP, so good for them.
True.
At a minus 150 run differential.
Excellent. It's like golf. They're just 150 under par.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
So thank you for doing that, Ryan. Moving on, we're going to get into another segment. It's a draft. We tend to.
Can
do
I
drafts
have clarification on this draft?
Well, let me announce that it's called the most forgettable sports team draft. Go ahead, Rob.
Are we talking like team as a whole or like specific seasons of a team?
No, teams as a whole. Like you just forget that this team exists.
Yeah, got it.
That
was my question. I was like, what if we just forgot how good like?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Whatever season that was.
Yeah.
That was my question.
I came up with this draft inspired by a team that I saw, and then I was like, holy crap, I forgot that was an actual team.
As I said, I'm unprepared. I get the first pick. It goes me, then Ryan, then Connor.
Top 4 North American teams, like top. Like,
yes, big 4.
You can go college too.
Big 4.
Or
college, I assume.
I was gonna stick to professional. Yeah, just to narrow the field. Unless you have someone that you really want to go with.
No, I was just trying to give myself options, but that's
like
fine.
Current
Big
teams, 4. Like not old teams.
Current teams across the leagues, the 4 leagues.
We're gonna go to the NBA. And this team they've had a really good resurgence here recently in the NBA. They had a really good season last year, but when they're bad, there are so many other teams in California, and it is so easy to forget that they exist at all. And that's gonna be the Sacramento Kings.
I don't know if it's a 101.
That's tough.
But I understand.
That's all I had. That's all I had.
I do understand.
I think you have to like when they're bad, they're so overshadowed by the LA teams and Golden State.
Yeah,
it's easy to forget about the Kings. You're looking at it from this perspective. Think about it like 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's fair. No, you're right. You're right. I mean, I think teams even like people probably even forget that they were like a 3 seed this past year. I think people were like, "Oh yeah, like light the beam." I forgot about that whole thing.
Yeah, right.
Ryan, it looks like it's swinging over to you for the number 2 pick.
I'm gonna go to the NHL.
Okay.
Make it a little weird.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of sports. I know teams. So we're gonna take it over to the Metropolitan Division, a team that's been founded relatively recently. Actually, the state that I reside in. It's going to be the Columbus Blue Jackets.
That was on my list. The Blue Jackets is actually on my list.
The fact that Columbus has a major hockey team.
I think that's wild.
Yeah.
They had failed to win 30 games in a season till 2006. So six years of just being fucking awful. They qualified for their first playoffs 10 years after being a team, but they were swept. They got their first playoff game victory not until 14 seasons after becoming a team. I mean, they are like bad. After seeing like the recent success of the Golden Knights and the Kraken after coming into the NHL and doing really well, I mean, the Blue Jackets just they have nothing. They haven't appeared in the conference finals. They've been a team for 23 years. They're forgettable. Like they're not in a cool city. I think they're a shoe-in first-round pick.
I think it's a good pick. That was definitely on my list. It's kind of nice that we're varying it up here, gentlemen, because my first pick, I'm going to a baseball team. I'm going to an MLB team. And it was actually, I came up with this idea. This is the team, this is the reason I came up with this draft, because I was playing MLB The Show the other day, which, by the way, is actually is very good. No, and I literally turned to it. I was like, "Oh my lord, I forgot that was a team." So my first pick, an MLB team, the Minnesota Twins. Who?
Damn.
Who? Nobody. Who cares? Who cares about the Minnesota Twins?
The dozens of Twins fans are really upset.
That's what I'm saying.
Minnesota's up in arms, and they have a total
we
of 10
skipped
arms.
over that division in baseball. I think that's actually pretty funny.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's really well done. Yeah,
The forgettable team. Nobody remembers the Twins. I literally forgot about that they existed until I saw them on the video game. So that's my first.
I think we did really well in our first picks.
Yeah. This is only 3 picks deep, by the way. So we're only gonna go.
Okay.
3. Yeah, so don't worry about it. My second pick here, we're swinging it over to the NBA. This is a team that coverage goes to die, which is kind of funny given kind of how this city. But once a player is traded here, you most likely will never hear about them again. And it's just how it is. So my number 2 pick, I'm gonna go to the Washington Wizards. I say this specifically because of the fact I remember when Porzingis was traded there, and I didn't hear anything about him for 2 years.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I was like, oh. And then it came up again. And he was like, "Oh yeah, he's on the Wizards," because I completely forgot that the Wizards existed. So yeah, I'm happy with my first 2 picks there.
I think this is your best start to a draft yet.
I agree because I came up with it.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I'm going to go to the NBA.
You love it.
And I'm going to an area of the country that I think really enjoys their basketball.
Okay.
But their NBA team is just they don't do much. They just kind of exist. They play some shooty hoops, and then they go home when it comes time to playoffs. That's going to be the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's another good one. Yeah.
I could never forget my beloved Pacers, but I could see how one could do that. I actually have a Pacers t-shirt now, so I can never forget them.
Is that a Roy Hibbert one?
But there was one that they threw out. I got it for free the game. I snagged it out of the. I'm going to take our first NFL team.
Oh, I didn't have it.
We haven't taken one yet, which is, we're big football guys, so it's kind of hard to forget about a team.
Fair.
But I forget all the times that the Houston Texans are a thing.
Dude,
I just forget.
Yeah. Dude,
I just forget that the Houston Texans exist because they're just irrelevant.
I was filling out, in order to get picks for this draft, I'm not kidding, this morning, you know those Sporkle quizzes that are name this league's teams or whatever?
Yeah, that was a good idea.
I live in Texas,
really good idea.
And I forgot the Texans were one of the last ones on my list. I was like, crap, I forgot about the Texans. So yeah, that's a good pick.
For my final one, I'm going to go to the MLB.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to take a team that is in the same city as another team that's a really popular MLB team. The Chicago White Sox are just there. Mm-hmm. If you think about Chicago baseball, what do you think about? You think about the Cubs.
Yeah.
I don't like that pick as much. Because I as soon as you think of Red Sox, you think of White Sox kind of thing. So it's I feel like there's kind of a property there where it connects.
But no, you see, you just proved my point, because if you're thinking of a team that ends in Sox, what's the first team you're gonna say, Connor?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're forgettable, because as soon as you think of that one team, you think.
I think they're pretty forgettable.
All right,
I think they're pretty forgettable.
To each their own. Ryan, your third pick.
I think I'm gonna go back to the NHL.
Don't take my pick. Don't take my pick.
They're in an area of the country that not a lot of people really care about hockey.
Oh my God! Don't take. Oh, okay, never mind. I thought you said well.
And that's going to be the Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah, that's valid.
They're talking about moving. They have a terrible. They have a terrible stadium. The whole state of Arizona kind of sucks for sports.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now
they're gonna have an 0-17 NFL team.
Connor, can I guess who you're gonna take?
Well, let Ryan finish his description.
That's about it.
Yeah, not much else on the guy. Sorry, go ahead, Robbie.
Are you gonna take the Winnipeg Jets?
I am indeed taking the Winnipeg Jets at my third overall pick. I swear to God, that's actually who I was taking on the third one. I wanted to round it out with 3 different leagues, and the Winnipeg Jets. So the Blue Jackets were on my list, and then I was going to go to the Jets if nobody picked them. So the Winnipeg Jets are on my list as my third pick. This might be the first draft that I've ever gotten first place in, I think.
I think Connor's wrecked us like Nike, actually.
I
came in unprepared.
Was good. I liked my first pick. Second pick was fine. Pacers are probably definitely top 5 most forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
Coyotes, the Coyotes are not very good. So,
I think I threw with the White Sox. I
don't think that's a good pick. Unfortunately, especially because of the whole Black Sox, the famous that incident back in the 1900s kind of thing, and I don't know.
I threw.
Hold on, I love this Bleacher Report article. So you like search up like irrelevant teams on Google, kind of like trying to get some inspiration.
Yeah.
It's like the 50 worst teams in sports history, and they're kind of going breaking it down. It's like number 1, the 1899 Cleveland Spiders.
Jeez.
They're really bad.
They hold the record for the worst MLB record, like that even the A's can't even get close to. And then you have like the Cincinnati Reds when they were the football team, or like the mid '70s Bucks who went 0-14. They have the '08 Lions that were didn't win a game. So that's your top 4. And then at the 5th slot, it's just the Cleveland Cavaliers. They just named the whole. This is Bleacher Report. They just named the fucking.
They have a championship.
It's probably an old article.
I thought it was fucking hysterical.
That is funny.
It was in 2011.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yes,
Okay. Yeah.
very old
Fair.
article. But I thought that was just really funny.
What about like
Because they did. So they also did an article in 2011 of the most irrelevant teams in all
And
of
the
sports.
Warriors were at 5.
I like number 2 is every MLS franchise besides the LA Galaxy.
no way.
Now it's the same thing, but it's just Inter Miami.
Miami. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So moving on from that, we're kind of running along anyways, and we have to get to the bracket. Do you guys have any hot takes that y'all found that you want to talk about, or do we want to move on to the bracket?
I didn't have anything great, to be
On to
honest.
the bracket.
I'll throw out one real quick, just as like a quick discussion. This is probably the most interesting one. There's never been a year where Kyrie Irving has been a top 3 point guard. So Kyrie Irving has been playing since 2011. He was a rookie in 2011. Probably did
I think
reach
just based off of his performance in the finals alone, the year where he saved LeBron's legacy, just like Ray Allen, I think he's probably top 3 point guard. I can't think of what year that was off the top of my head.
2016. So Steph.
Yeah.
Steph was probably number 1. You had to throw
You had Westbrook at some years.
Westbrook. I think Westbrook's probably up there. People argue Chris Paul was up there in terms of.
I'll give CP like 1 or 2 years in top 3, like at the beginning of that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. You think in 2016 still? You mean at the beginning of Kyrie's career?
Yes.
Yes, that's fair.
People think CP3
I'm thinking
was like top 3 in like 17, 18 when he was with the Rockets.
Hysterical.
That's
he was really good.
Really funny. It's also really funny.
that's just dumb.
Thanks for stopping by.
Bro, y'all hate Chris Paul, bro. I don't love him either anymore. I used to love him, but not anymore. Just because I think he's kind of a D. We're gonna move
up into the dark.
Kyrie was the top 3 point guard in the NBA.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I think I don't agree with that take, but I mean it's
That's a terrible take.
Wow, he said terrible. We're gonna move on to our bracket. We've been doing a best sports cities bracket. Last week we completed part 2 of round 1. We are now going to do all of round 2, and we have some really good matchups for this week. So I'm gonna get that pulled up real quick. I know that these guys have been mentioning some cities that they were excited to talk about. Obviously, we talked about some underdogs in the first round that could go far. I mean, Buffalo being a 31 seed, overtaking Los Angeles as a number 2 seed was the big talking point.
I think that was valid.
Buffalo is a better sports town than LA.
I'm
LA
with
is
you, bro.
not a sports town.
I'm with you all the way.
Charmin soft fans too.
We have some really, really good matchups. Second round of this bracket. First matchup. Number 1 seeded New York City. Number 16 seeded Toronto.
NYC.
It's New York is not really close.
Yeah, Toronto's good though. I don't think we can discount Toronto.
That's nice. Fuck the Blue Jays.
Wow. Heavens.
Just because of the Batista bat flip.
I just remember Toronto having kind of a weak first round matchup too, so I don't really see that as that big of an upset.
No, Toronto, that was a good match. It was against Seattle in the first round. It was split between y'all two.
I said Seattle.
Yeah.
I wanted Seattle for that one for sure.
That's right. Me and Connor went with Toronto because of Drake.
Yeah, bad take.
The 6 guy.
Like, I mean, would it have mattered, Ryan? Would you have put Seattle past? Yeah, exactly.
I would have considered it for about a 1/10 of a second longer.
Very well.
Number 24 seeded Las Vegas versus number 8 seeded Miami.
I don't like how you say Vegas.
Las
I
Vegas.
don't like it.
Las Vegas.
No, that's not how you said it. You said You said like vagina.
Vegas.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Yeah. Las Vagine.
It's Miami. Vegas is great, but I do think there's still a lot of transport.
Very interesting. I think
it's a good matchup.
I think these are potentially the top 2 tourist destination cities that have like a bunch of professional sports teams.
Good fans. And they have good fans.
Good take.
They have people that also have a lot of money that like can go and like take people to see these games, right?
Yep.
Even if they're bad, it's something to do in a cool city that people always visit, so they'll go catch a game. That's why you see all these teams moving to Vegas so quickly, even though it's hot as sin. And Miami's Miami, baby. So
South Beach.
I don't know. This is tough.
I think
it's Miami.
The Golden Knights have really good fans. I think the Raiders are still very much so building a fan base in Las Vegas. I'll be very curious to see how the A's do in Las Vegas. I think overall Miami
this in like a decade.
Yes, I think that's a good take.
Be a very different scenario.
Just based on the
Dolphins have been there, the Heat have been there, like they have longer established fan bases.
Just based on the success of the Golden Knights, I agree. I think in 10 years Vegas could overtake this.
There we go. Yeah, that's a good next matchup.
It's crazy to think that Las Vegas had no teams. 6 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
There's not a single major professional sports team in Las Vegas. Now they might have 3 here soon.
Yeah,
we're going to have 3 here soon. So
it just made sense.
Follow the money.
Yeah, it just made sense.
It does make sense.
Number 5, the San Francisco Bay Area versus number 12 seeded Minneapolis. I can't say it. Minneapolis. Golly, I did that last time.
There you go, attaboy.
Good lord.
I think I got to take the Bay Area.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I do love Vikings fans though.
Yeah,
Viking fans are great.
They're the reason that they're here.
Correct.
The Twins and the T-Wolves are not really taking Minneapolis to the promised land.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about my Rudy Gobert fan club is going really well.
Yeah, is it?
There are dozens of us.
I agree. It's the Bay Area.
We got one to talk about, gentlemen, and I don't think it's going to go in the hometown boys' favor here. Number 20, Cleveland versus number 4, Dallas.
It's Cleveland. You know that it's Cleveland because Cleveland has nothing going for it but sports. You know what? Their sports teams aren't great. But God damn it, they're there. God damn it, they're there every weekend.
They are there. Oh, that hurts, but I think I'm going to... Yeah. Ryan, it's up to you, Ryan. But
the Cowboys are just an absolute anchor to the city of Dallas, too.
Yeah.
In terms of being a sports town.
No, we talked about Rangers.
But how many Cowboys fans are in... How many Cowboys fans are actually in Dallas? Like,
that's a good point, too.
I feel like you see more Cowboys fans outside of Dallas than you do in Dallas.
Yeah.
People love the Mavs.
Best one in Dallas.
I think the Mavs are the strongest fan base in Dallas because it does have actually like a good local following, I feel like.
Yes, 100%.
Yes. People like the Stars, but it's relatively small.
Yeah. Say it right.
The Rangers are real fair weather fans.
I feel like the way I think about this is like if it's a close one like this, like when I think of the city, what do I think of? When I think of Cleveland, I think of a sports town. Like what else is going on in Cleveland? Dallas, not so much. There's a lot of things going on in Dallas outside of watching Cowboys lose every Sunday. In Cleveland, that's all you got. That's all you do is go watch.
You have to watch them lose.
You're gonna go get blacked out. You're gonna put a paper bag over your head.
Yep,
and you're
gonna have a damn good time. Yep.
Ryan, say it.
Let's Cleveland takes round.
Here's a proposition for you. If the Cowboys went 0-16, how would their turnout look the next season?
It would be so bad. I think
it would be abysmal, right?
They might burn the stadium down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is true.
That's a good point, actually. Number 3, Chicago versus number 19, Pittsburgh.
Oh, that's a good
great matchup. I want to call this one the matchup of the week. I think matchup of the week.
We have to like can we call big graphic.
Big block.
Yeah. Matchup of the week.
I don't know, dude. There's one later that.
I might have to amend that. Oh, there's a Boston one hiding down there, is there?
Yeah, there is.
Oh, this one's rough.
Let's talk about the
fans
teams.
are like top 5 in baseball. Blackhawks fans are top 5 in hockey. Bears fans are just...
Bears fans are up there too, kind of. I think Bears fans are really solid as well.
They're just so delusional. Like, still, like it's
but then go to Pittsburgh. Steelers fans are probably top 5 in the league. Yeah, and the Bulls.
Not Pirates.
Penguins fans are out there. The Pirates are really what's dragging you down here. It is definitely the Pirates.
Well, they just are so bad. I mean, they're historically one of the worst teams in professional sports. They have a really cool stadium, though. They fill out games because the stadium's so nice. I think you got to go Chicago.
I agree.
All right.
I don't think the Bulls fans are actually really that good.
I
To
agree.
be honest,
Actually.
I think they're probably
Sure.
them and the White Sox are definitely like the bottom two.
MJ Meat Riders.
Yeah.
Next matchup here, we have number 11 Detroit versus number 6 Washington D.C.
Detroit.
Yep.
I don't think it's a contest.
Just a reminder, DC
We
got through on Indianapolis last round, so that's why they were.
Yeah,
in that.
that's one of just a week matchup.
Yeah, it's
And
like
we weren't like super convinced
No,
on that one
no,
either.
no, we weren't.
Here's where I think we may be talking about matchup of the week here. Number 7, Philadelphia versus number
fuck,
10,
that's right.
Boston.
I cannot believe Boston got a 10 seed.
Yeah,
What's gonna remember is solely based on number of teams and population.
That's what you think of when you
Boston.
think of. He's confident.
It's Boston.
It's Boston.
Oh.
And even if you want to debate, which has better atmosphere, games, whatever, Phillies fans, like just Philadelphia fans being total a-holes, it pushes Boston through for me.
Boston's kind of
I think you have-
racist.
And I mean, Boston fans are also fucking assholes.
Right.
But
Kinda
like,
racist.
they're somehow not as bad as Philly fans.
I
Yeah.
agree.
It's like I would take Bruins fans are better than Flyers fans. Flyers suck. Red Sox fans are way more ravenous than Phillies fans, also way more racist. Celtics fans are way better than 76ers fans, in partially because 76ers are just suffering through the process. And
Trust it.
It really, like, New England fans are pretty mid. I would actually take Eagles fans over
Yes, for sure.
Patriots fans. I think actually the Eagles fans carry Philly a little bit in this matchup.
I'm gonna say too. I think an important part of being a great sports town is knowing when to be a gracious loser. I think that's something that will come back to hurt Boston later on in this. But I
they
think
just
that's
haven't
important thing
lost
to
a lot
consider.
either, which is
Yeah,
annoying.
yeah, it's really
Yeah.
fucking annoying.
Last matchup of the second round, last matchup of the day. Number 15 seeded Atlanta versus 31 seeded Buffalo.
Atlanta's just kind of a mid sports town.
Yeah, it is. I live here. I know. I'm not gonna argue
It
with
is
you.
the Braves, and then it's 50 feet of shit,
And then it's the
and
Falcons.
then it's the Falcons and Hawks. I mean, it's like,
No. It's the Braves. It's 50 feet of shit. It's the Falcons. And then there's another 100 feet of shit, and it's the Hawks. No one gives a flying fuck about the Hawks in Atlanta. Like, you just
who
could not
cares
care
more,
less.
Atlanta United or the Hawks?
I think Atlanta United has a better following than the Hawks. Actually, like to be honest, I never hear people like, yeah, we're going to the city for a Hawks game. I hear people going all the time into the city to go see Atlanta United games. So
That's crazy. So
Why would I could see Trae Young's receding hairline just fine for my fucking couch.
come on, bro. I don't think we have much room to talk.
if you go, it's a 50-50 shot. They're going to lose because they're going to be 500. So it's
Yeah,
really
that's a
not
fair
even
point.
worth buying a ticket.
How far are we gonna drag Buffalo here, gentlemen? The Bills Mafia, are they going all the way? How far are they going?
And the Sabres, they couldn't.
say, yeah,
they really like that mascot up there.
Yeah.
They just like buffaloes.
Buffalo might have a bad draw in this next round, just so you know.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
Cinderella run
Might come
end
to an
next
end.
round. There it is.
Indeed. So yeah, that has been the podcast. That is it for all of our segments. Gentlemen, one of you like to sign us out?
For myself and Ryan and Connor, thank you for listening to another great episode of the Bros in the Berg podcast. Please subscribe, follow on all social media at Bros in the Berg. And we hope you enjoy this episode. Please gamble responsibly.
Oh yeah.